Someone commented on one of my YouTube videos. What?
The comments in new?
What language is that top comment?
Korean.
How the fuck do you know that?
How the fuck would you know that? Why the fuck would you know that?
Man.
And this movie was just... It was... Sometimes so bad, it was actually so good. It was perfectly 90s campy movie. You will love this movie. You will appreciate the hell out of this movie. The whole time frame thing until about a week after I watched it when we did our review of it and they explained it to me. It was just confusing. They didn't lay it out clearly enough. There wasn't really any enjoyable action. There was action. I did not enjoy it.
He gets his firearms. He gets his suit, which has armor built into it. He gets the plans of the building that this takes place in. In that 5 minutes alone, I want to see a fucking movie with the people that get the shit for him. I want to see a movie with those guys. That's how good this movie is.
And it's so beautiful because for me it makes you feel these relationships. You feel like, oh, he's living this shitty, boring life, and you can really see that like his perception of himself as a replicant.
But what does that mean?
Harms himself.
What does that mean though? You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Alright, well, first of all, welcome everybody. This is our end of the year / maybe uploading on the first of the new year. This is the, I guess, what would we call this? The movie podcast or the movie?
The movie users, best of,
with a little bit of Battlestar, whatever your username is.
Alright, so here are the 5 categories that we have. Well, I kind of made up, but we all kind of all chose. This is everybody's personal opinion. This is not based on
This is actually objective.
The large. It's what we individually feel are the best, the worst movies of the year, best and worst, our own personal guilty pleasure, and our own personal letdown of the year, meaning a movie that we all were like really psyched for and just fucking fell flat on its face. And then a few honorable mentions that we can talk about whatever we would like. Mm-hmm. I'll start with my letdown. Justice League. I'm a huge Marvel fan ever since Iron Man came out. I'm not a comic book guy at all. Like, I respect the comics. I don't read them, but anybody who brings up comics who's knowledgeable on them, right? Like, I have respect for it. The comics were before anything else. TV shows, movies. Mm-hmm. So, as a guy who's been watching the movies over the past few years, you know, Superman, Wonder Woman, the trailers made this movie look fucking amazing. And it came out. Forgetting the mustache bullshit, no, sorry. It's my personal letdown. There are a few very funny moments. There are a few action scenes that are, wow, like, that was fucking cool. And I'm glad to have seen it on a big screen. But, no. Overall, a letdown of mine. My favorite moment of the movie, probably when the Flash, who was probably the standout character of the film, is doing his super speed thing, and Superman sees him and does that whole eye turn. And this is the first time Flash has encountered somebody that can see him, let alone interact with him when he's at his speed. Mm-hmm. And you see the look on his face like, I fucked up. Like, oh shit. And then of course Superman tackles him and all that shit. Also, from me to the audience at large here, I'm a huge soundtrack enthusiast, as you guys know, and Danny Elfman did the score. And while there were bits of the Man of Steel, Wonder Woman theme in there, he fucked the soundtrack hardcore. In fact, there's a huge, I don't know if you guys know this, there's a huge petition to redo the score on a fan level because the score in the movie is so bad. Like, there are a few moments that are good. Most of it is just, no. But that's going above and beyond. So,
what was bad? Like, was it the Batman theme that people didn't like?
No. Like, it's Danny Elfman, right? And I love Danny Elfman. Yeah. He's responsible for what we think of as the Batman theme.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da. He's responsible for Beetlejuice. He's responsible for Nightmare on Elm Street. Not Nightmare on Elm Street. The fucking, what's the Christmas movie that's Christmas and Halloween?
Krampus.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Thank you. He's responsible for the Edward Scissorhands. He's a huge composer when it comes to the soundtrack.
So he's like basically a Tim Burton fanboy? Is that
correct. Well, here's my thing. his Batman theme fits the Batman movies of the 90s and 80s with Michael Keaton, directed by Tim Burton. In this movie, 2017, the Superman theme he brings back from the John Williams era, which fits the John Williams era. But you already have this Hans Zimmer score for the other films, and it's like it doesn't match. It's like trying to play the, I don't know, give me an example here. It's like trying to play the theme of a current generation of film or TV show that's a reboot of something from 20 years ago.
Like the Celine Dion from Titanic.
Again,
Is that
what?
Celine Dion?
No, fuck off. Hopefully you get the fucking idea here. Me as a soundtrack guy, when they announced this movie, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. No, failure. Anyway, that's that. Honorable mentions, I'll get this out of the way. I have 3 honorable mentions that I really liked, but I don't think deserve a place on this list. Number 1, Thor. I liked the 3rd Thor film. I thought it was very funny. I thought there were moments that made me go, wow. I just felt that the movie could have done better when it comes to explaining not only the world that Thor and Banner go. We all saw this, right?
Yes.
Okay. My biggest problem with this movie is Hera. She's meant to be this big, badass
Hela.
villain. Huh? What?
Hela.
What'd I say?
Hera.
Hera? Okay, fine. The bad chick in the movie. They cut away too much from her. Like, she's supposed to be this big, badass daughter of the father of Thor, sister to Thor.
Yeah.
And they cut away to other stuff, and that's fine, but they just don't go into her character that much. All we see of her is she can make weapons from her body, and she kills everybody, and she wants her, and I get it, she wants her way. She's pissed off that, what the hell's Thor's dad's name? Odin. He's kind of covered up the history of his empire, which is kind of cool.
And I think he also banished her to the shadow,
right?
Or whatever the hell.
But the movie can't pick what it wants to be. It wants to be this really funny buddy movie, which it is. Let me tell you, like, there are moments that I've laughed the hardest this year in this movie. But then
I thought the humor was shit. We actually did a review of this.
Okay, well, I didn't, so fuck off. The movie's legitimately really funny.
No, it's not.
And then it cuts to
Serious.
her wiping out the population on the planet, like, not like lightly, like, oh, women and children, you're dead. Like, what the fuck? It doesn't bridge the divide evenly. Anyway, so that's one guilty pleasure. The other guilty pleasure, Life. The movie about the astronauts on the International Space Station that take the sample from Mars.
I was gonna say,
it has
I
the
also
alien.
enjoy living too, but that's...
If you get, Billy, I know you saw
I saw it.
Steve,
I did
Mike.
not see it. I didn't know.
Okay, as a science fiction fan, this movie is legitimately terrifying. It starts off with this crew on the space station, and they take a sample that was taken from Mars, and it turns out there's like, what the hell's the word? Single cell life
like a micro
on it, like microorganism.
Yeah.
And they introduce it to an environment that gives you growth and stuff, or the properties of like heat and sugar and moisture, and it grows into this terrifying being. Right.
Like, yeah.
And it makes you really, really think about our current level of society and what it would do if we encountered alien life. Not just like up walking around, they speak languages like just Precambrian bacterial life. And it's legitimately scary in some parts. Another guilty pleasure, Dunkirk. Excellent war film, well directed, well shot. The cinematography and the sound design and the soundtrack, holy fucking shit. There are moments in the movie, like the dogfights, holy shit. But
I thought those were...
it isn't paced very well, in my opinion. And I get that it's supposed to be, this section is a whole day, this section is an hour, this section is 10 minutes, or whatever it is.
A week.
Okay, fine. But I got it the night I saw it, but a lot of people complain, like, I don't understand how for a week these dudes were flying the plane. It's like, what? No, they weren't flying the plane. So I think they should have made it a little clearer. But besides that, excellent film. It deserves the accolades that it got. My personal, and I'm struggling for time here, I got like 4 minutes left. My best movie of the year, because I already talked about Let Down, honorable mention. My best movie of the year is The Planet of the Apes that came out this year. for the third film in a trilogy. It wrapped up the story. You literally care about a fictional character, probably the most since the days of Gollum in Lord of the Rings, where you know that Caesar and all the other apes are artificial. You know that they're motion capped, you know that they're not real, but you care for them. It's the first time in a movie, I'm not kidding here, and I've seen a ton of fucking movies over my lifetime. It's the first time when I was watching the movie and I legitimately forgot, oh fuck, that's motion cap. And I know it sounds stupid because you're talking about apes working with people, but you watch it and it's like you care about what their story is. And I'm not gonna spoilers, we're not doing that here, but it's a movie tied in with the other two that if you sit down for 6 hours, 5 hours and watch these movies, it probably is since Back to the Future one of the best trilogies I've ever seen. And I'm not saying it's perfect. And I know some of you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It really would benefit you if you watched Planet of the Apes. The special effects, the motion capture. Put it this way, I'm not a big fan.
The first Planet of the Apes movie,
not like the Charlton Heston one. The newer Planet of the Apes.
Gotcha.
I respect the old ones, but these are different.
Wait, when you say it would benefit you, like it benefit you to watch
the newer three. Like if you like movies and you like science fiction,
gotcha.
sit down and watch Planet. I forget the titles, but the three newer movies.
Yeah.
I respect the old ones a lot, but these are different. The special effects, the motion capture, you can see, because these movies have been filmed over like the past 5-6 years, the advent of technology, where I think we're about 4 years away from when we watch movies, they're going to be able, like they've already done, people who have passed away or died. And this movie really shows what you can do, not just putting a character on screen, emotionally. You're involved in these characters, and you want them to succeed or win or live or whatever.
Did you see The Jungle Book?
Yes, that's another example of a movie done very, very, very well.
I mean, the digital effects in that are...
Yes, I would say this film trumps that. No,
really?
Fucking Trump. I would say this film is better than that.
Really? Okay,
and
I think
Jungle Book is very good.
Yeah.
I'm a 29-year-old male. I went to see Jungle Book just to see the effects, knowing what the story is, and I left happy. This movie does it better. If you guys haven't seen it. But that's my favorite movie of the year that I saw overall. It finished the story, it wrapped it up, and it was done very well. Yeah. Not saying it's perfect, but that's just my personal opinion. Worst movie of the year, I'm just going to talk about this for 2 seconds. Star Wars, the Last Jedi. It's a letdown for me. There are too many plot holes, there are too many faults, there are too many moments where I would sit there as a casual Star Wars fan, not a comic reader, I don't read the books, I just watch the films. There are too many moments when I would go, what the fuck? Like, you're going against canon you already have established, or the First Order is so fucking stupid at their job, whatever. I'm not wasting my time on this here. Guilty pleasure, my last category, John Wick 2. John Wick 2 was fucking phenomenal. It expanded upon the universe that we had already set up in the first John Wick. You want John Wick to do the job. You look at have you guys all seen it? I know you saw it.
I saw it.
Have you seen it?
I don't think so.
No. I've seen the first one.
Okay.
I know I've seen the first one.
The action set pieces, the gun handling, the I'm not gonna say safe handling, but like the training and the way that they present firearms in the film, it's not just your typical shootout shit. The fact that they expand upon the universe of John Wick, where you have these assassins and you have this currency and you have this way of life. John Wick, again, Keanu Reeves is backed into a corner, and fuck that shit. He fights out of the corner. I'm saying it this way to avoid spoilers. It is easily my guilty pleasure of the year, and if you're a fan of the first movie, or even a fan of action films, this movie, literally, there are moments in this movie that you just smile. Like, there's a 5-minute scene where John Wick, the character, gets outfitted for his night out on the town, where he gets his firearms, he gets his suit, which has armor built into it, he gets the plans of the building that this takes place in, and that 5 minutes alone, I want to see a fucking movie with the people that get the shit for him. Like, the dude that's like, oh, what do you want, John Wick? Oh, you need something for, here's this firearm, or here's this thing. I want to see a movie with those guys. That's how good this movie is. And I know you guys haven't seen it, so I'll stop now, but...
I've seen it.
So again, the best movie of the year for me, Planet of the Apes, The worst, Star Wars, The Force Awakens. Letdown, overall, Justice League. Honorable mentions, Life, Dunkirk, and what did I pick? Life, Dunkirk, because I'm fucking split screening here. Thor, and of course, guilty pleasure, John Wick. Planet of the Apes, Star Wars, John Wick, Justice League, Life, Dunkirk, and then Thor. That's my overall, from what I've seen this year, answers to your questions there. Mm-hmm. Who's up next?
All right, I'll go next.
Pause for a moment for editing.
Sure.
Sorry. The pizza, when that hits 20 minutes.
Go take it out? I'll take it out.
Just look. Make sure.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Because we put it in a few minutes before that started, so it shouldn't be ready yet.
Dude, I'm the king of assuming time for pizza.
What?
I'm the dude that when I cook pizza.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Assume nothing.
All right, Billy, you are up, good sir. What are your films of the year?
Alright, that's in the best film of the year for me this year was Bright. That was by far one of the most original movies I've seen. Most of the movies I've seen this year have been sort of either a rehash of something that's already been done, a sequel, or something like that. To me, this was original. Sometimes you think about the backstory of this thing, some of it's gonna make no sense. But to be honest, the action was good. The characters were fantastic. It was just purely original.
Fun.
It was purely original, purely fun. I don't know. There's not really much to describe it other than it was like I haven't seen anything else like it yet, and we need more movies like that are just purely original. Not really much I can expand upon that.
I liked it. We all say we liked Bright.
Everybody liked it. Worst movie for me this year was Justice League. That movie was so jarring for me. The editing was horrific. It was horrific. The special effects were bad.
Mustache.
I really didn't catch the mustache thing.
I still can't believe you guys didn't catch
I think
that.
because you knew about it, so you looked at it.
What mustache?
So Henry Cavill, the guy who plays Superman, right?
Yeah.
He is filming another movie at the same time as this. And in his contract, they literally said, you cannot shave the mustache. And they went back and forth forever, and they were like, nope, can't do it, or you're out. So, all of the post scenes, they had to edit his mustache out. And some scenes it works really well. Like, I look at it and go, wow, someone did that? That's good. And then some scenes it's like, nope.
Honestly, I don't think if you didn't know about it.
Right, a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
I will give you that, but now that I've said that, if you ever go back and look at clips, you're gonna go, oh fuck. Like
that movie, but
it's not just that, right?
Yeah, no, it was not just that. It was just a lot of the editing felt weird. It's been a little while since I saw it. It's just the jarring between the scenes. The story just felt weird. The villain was unimpressive in any way. It felt like the regular Marvel, here's your villain of the month villain, but even more lame. I didn't get anything out of it. I just remember just being very disappointed by that film.
On the plus side, though, I don't think he died, unlike in a lot of Marvel movies. So at least they could build on this.
Actually, that's one thing that really annoyed me was the whole Superman death thing, and then resurrecting him. Because at the end,
no, he's talking about the villain.
Oh well,
yeah.
Well, he didn't. Yeah, well, technically he didn't die, but it did feel like the regular villain of the month crap. But Superman's resurrection, that actually really annoyed me the way they did it. Because at the end of Batman vs Superman, you see like the dirt rising up from the coffin. So then now you're going to assume that maybe Spider-Man.
Whoa.
Okay, maybe Superman's powers are healing him, and that he's going to show up at the last moment.
I thought that's what was going to happen.
Because there's a scene in the trailer where Alfred's working on something, and then he turns around and it's like almost like
you'd show up.
I thought
too late.
Yeah, it's like
there's a lot of shit in the trailer that isn't in the movie.
But then it's like almost less than halfway through. We have to go resurrect Superman. They use one of the boxes, which literally looks like something from Bryce that 3D program from like the early 2000s. It literally looks like a dull
Mother box.
Yeah, the mother box literally looks like a dull box made in Bryce. It just okay, we're gonna do the exact same thing we did to resurrect Zod, and he became this horrific thing. But you're gonna throw him in there, throw the box in. Oh, Superman's awake.
But to be fair, at least that's the continuity.
It's a
It's
continuity.
nothing to do with the comics.
And then it's
I
like,
agree.
oh,
No,
Superman.
I know with the comics, but then like this fluid has like regenerated.
Yeah, I know.
Can
It's
we
just-
talk about though how once Superman comes back to life and once he interacts with the villain, the villain is like negated.
Yeah, basically,
But
he negates the villain's power.
Superman literally goes, "Is this guy still bothering you?" like
Yeah.
whatever.
But no, but that's the point. That's why
I know.
they invade because the Kryptonian.
Because he's not there anymore.
Because he's not
Yeah.
there. It's I don't know. It was it was just a bad movie. Somebody has
There
got to,
are.
like-
I think what you're trying to say is there are cuts of this movie, or in this movie, where the movie's what 2? Not even.
It's almost 2 hours
It's almost 2 hours because the studio wanted it to be under 2 hours. There's probably a 2.5 hour cut that if we were to watch it, we'd sit back and go, "Wow,
Yeah.
good movie."
And because the thing is, I'm going into these DC movies now with this sort of not very high standard, like not very high standard in my mind, because I've watched some of these movies, and going in, the editing's terrible, it's jarring, it doesn't seem good, and then as soon as you watch the extended cuts, wow, why didn't you guys just make it a 3-hour movie? It would have been so much better just to make it that way, but no, we have to cut it down.
Because people don't like 3 hours.
It's just I don't understand why. In this case, it would have been better, but there you go. So on my next category, letdown.
Let me pause. I'm sorry, I don't mean to do this. Oh, my dog barking.
No, because we didn't interrupt him at all. They're interrupting you constantly.
I just
Don't stand for that shit. Because it's actually buffering me. It's a total lack of respect, and it's making everything longer.
Well, I'm losing part of my thought process.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You guys can't keep interrupting people. I'm gonna tell them to the mic. We didn't interrupt you, please show the same respect for Bill.
Ow. Sorry, I can edit around this. It's fine. I can edit around the.
Yeah, I know, it's just, he's also losing his thought process
Yeah,
a little
I'm
bit.
trying to.
So it's
I'm trying to come up with a point. I had a whole point about Justice League that I completely.
Well, it
forgot.
sucks. I went first, so that he's bringing up things, and I'm like, oh yeah, like
Yeah.
you're legitimate on the cuts. I totally forgot about that. Like, there's moments in this movie where you watch it and you're like, it ends and the scene ends, and you're like, whoa, go.
Yeah,
Like,
what's
keep
going on? Like, come on.
There are fun moments though, like when the Flash saves like the pickup truck of family.
That was so funny.
And then he's like, you see him stop, like, I did something really cool. Like,
Yeah,
and you yourself are like, yeah, good for you. Because Flash is like,
Yeah, but in the background you see fucking Superman.
and he looks at Superman like, and if it was radar, he'd be like, fuck you.
But that comes to the point where it's like, I want the dark movies, but you know, might as well just play the damn like Superman theme. The happy Superman theme is he's like looks like he's out of the comic books.
Do you get my point about the fucking score though?
I didn't
It's
even know the
forgettable.
score name
It's
that
so fucking forgettable.
I don't even remember the score.
Well,
Hey,
Hans
Siri.
Zimmer is an amazing.
He is. He's way overplayed, and he's way too many people suck his dick. But
he's
good
but
at what
the
he
problem
does.
is he doesn't. He's real. Alright, so now that you're back,
hey Siri,
just
try not to interrupt
Try not
so much.
to interject as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to continue a thought process.
Oh, well, yeah.
Just because.
Where is he?
Come on, go shoot.
Where is
Everyone
he?
has a tendency.
We
to
love
do
you,
that.
Bill.
What?
Everyone has a tendency to do that.
how old is she?
14. Come on. Yep. There you go.
Hey, can you reset that timer when it goes to Steve? Because it's like we put a timer for everybody, and it just keeps going.
Well, yeah, that was Mike's point, was that we can keep track of time. Like, I knew this is what he was going to do.
I kept to like 13 minutes, which I'm kind of pissed that I did, but whatever.
What, you went over the time?
No, I didn't go far enough over the time.
Well, no, Alright, so how much longer does Bill have?
I actually still.
He has like 6-7 minutes.
Yeah, because I have 3
It's
more
been going for like
categories.
11, 12 minutes.
Well, I did the same thing. Like I spent so much time on 2 out of the 5 categories.
So I gotta go on my next.
Because you guys remember, we're doing 4 categories.
We're doing 5 categories.
Yeah, sorry, 5 categories. There's 4 of us. We're gonna be spending like
Alright.
45,
Everybody smile.
50 minutes on this, so it's
Mike,
not,
smile.
it's not a big deal to
Alright.
take 10.
No, like I went over a little
No,
bit.
no,
could've went over a lot
I'm
more.
fine with that. It's
Alright,
just
well, sit down so I can go
sit
continue.
the fuck down.
Alright, so I'll edit all this out.
Thank you.
Alright.
Start up.
Well,
Yeah.
obviously.
So next category, letdown. That to me was Star Wars: The Last Jedi. When you watch the trailers of this movie, it hyped you up for this. You thought this was going to be a great action Star Wars movie. Something big was going to happen to it. I mean, you already destroyed the super weapon in the previous movie, and you thought like the way they're building up, there's going to be some big thing with the Jedi. Maybe there was going to be a whole different, I don't know, say reformation with it.
Training.
There was going to be, I don't know what it is. There was going to be something big about this, and then this movie turns out to be like almost half of it's a chase scene, the slowest chase scene I've ever seen outside of the remake for RoboCop, and the training scenes that never really happened, and all they do is just reaffirm the same things at the end. There's none of this like, oh, the Jedi have to end, like we're gonna, like the Game of Thrones, we're breaking the wheel. No, the Jedi are just gonna continue. The rebellion's just gonna continue. There's a cool, me and Mike came with this cool idea where there could have been a civil war or something within the First Order. There's so much you could have done, but it had so much potential, there was so much promise for it, and then it just let you down like that. There's like right now going to be 3 parts on this on why this movie was so bad, so there's not really much more. I'll go in depth upon that.
Can I just make a quick comment though? Because you brought up the trailers.
Yeah.
I think one of the crappiest things for me was that the way the trailers made it sound was like Luke was like, "All right, we gotta end the Jedi," and then at the end it's like, "Oh, actually, psych. No, we're just gonna continue."
That's why I said it was going to be like this whole change about it. That maybe the balancing the force isn't just keeping the light side and the dark side. It's it's lined up somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And then maybe all of the.
Where's your beer, Billy?
I'm not drinking right.
Yeah.
Right, and then maybe it's. God damn it.
Like some kind of
How
towel.
about the
It's
fact
good-
that the trailer deliberately shows, like all of us got the opinion of, wow, Luke's training Rey. This is gonna be fucking great. Does she get trained?
No, she doesn't.
No,
You don't get that, but
at all.
you don't get any of that. But I was really hoping for some kind of like big, I guess, philosophical thing with like the Jedi, where I was hoping for, maybe just this constant back and forth between the light and the dark. Maybe that's not the right way. Maybe the Jedi had it wrong, and we're gonna get like the gray Jedi in the middle or something like that, or something like that. But all you got was like, oh nope, Jedi they're gonna continue to exist. Like it just like it didn't conclude anything. It just felt like a bridge movie that could have been put down to 20 minutes, given to us as a short, and then they could have actually done something else. That's what this movie felt like. It was bad. So my next category, guilty pleasure. I'm gonna be with Smith on this. John Wick 2.
Yeah.
That was by far one of the best action scenes. Excuse me, not action scenes. Best action movies I've ever seen. Just the way he moves the gun, the way he's fighting, the whole story is great.
It makes you want to see more.
It makes me want to see more. It held my attention so much, and I love of that movie. My favorite scene is when he's fighting in the underground tunnels after, having to assassinate, after taking out the certain person. Try not to spoil.
Thank you.
And then just the fight scene there because he's hitting all the guns everywhere.
He's playing ahead.
And he's playing ahead.
Food prep.
And it's just the way he's fighting. It's
realistic.
choreographed so well. It's so realistic.
Billy, with a fucking pencil.
Yes, he finally does
Fucking
that.
pencil.
He finally does it.
Finally.
Then in the first movie, he killed somebody with a fucking pencil. And what does he do this time? Kill somebody with a fucking pencil.
Don't know who though.
Okay, and you're not going to say anything
Not
more
gonna
about
say
that?
nope.
Doesn't spoil anything.
I'm not gonna spoil anything.
See,
Go
why is
on.
that such a big deal though? Because we've
It
already
was-
saw
it
that
was
with
a-
the
it was a
Joker.
funny-
You have
nod.
not seen that yet.
It's the funny
Oh
nod
my
to the
God.
first movie. If you love action,
We should have
movies-
watched that.
Sure.
A slightly off camera. I have it with me. Yes,
Oh yeah, we're watching that tonight.
it is a great action movie. It is. If it wasn't for Bright, it might have been one of my top contenders for the best film this year. And then finally, honorable mentions. Number one is Dunkirk. I want to see more. I want to see more war movies. I'm a war movie buff. I like those. I did actually find the time thing a little bit jarring. I will admit that. I even found that a little bit jarring, but eventually I got a hold of it. But the action scenes were good. The one thing I pointed out in the last review we did about Dunkirk was I liked the fact that they didn't show any German soldiers. It was kind of like you felt that amount of terror that these guys were feeling.
The villain unseen
Wait,
kind of thing.
the unseen villain. It's the terror that these guys are feeling as they're trying to leave the beaches and constantly being harassed by the Germans. It did that so well.
I think you and I had the same feeling though. The only thing we had a big problem with was at the end of the film. We've all seen it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The end of the movie, Tom Hardy's character, he runs out of fuel, right?
yeah.
And it's a Spitfire, well-known aircraft, and it's clear he runs out of fuel and he's coasting or gliding. Sorry,
There is something where that's actually physically
Right.
that shouldn't be able to happen, but
but it can if you're like this ace pilot, like the
Tom
best
Hardy's
pilot in the world.
character. But you know what?
At
It
that
was in-
point, we don't care.
At that point, I don't care. It's entertaining.
We don't.
Because some of us had already lost interest in the
It's
movie.
they have lost interest.
I said fuck it because you
I
know
still-
what? At the
I
end of the
still
movie, like Billy, we were so rooting for the British,
Yeah.
and we were about to see them get fucked by
They were British.
that one bomber. And then that one bomber gets taken out, and we're like,
There's
who the
something-
fuck did that? And Tom Hardy's plane is gliding, and we're like, you know what? Fuck yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I didn't care about that at the point, and I liked it. Fun, entertaining. It was again a little jarring, but you know what?
Solid war film.
Solid war film, and I hope it brings back more of them. Second honorable mention: Power Rangers.
Right here. Yes. Fucking love that.
My God.
That was awesome.
I watched the first preview to this, and they said it's morphin' time. I cringed a bit inside
I cringe every time I hear
because
those
I
words.
thought they were gonna make this as like a
That's
dark
what I feel
movie.
Donald Trump's going to say at the end of his press conference. And he's
It's
going to shoot up in his
Yes.
face.
God.
But so I watched the trailer. I'm cringing at this because I thought it would make it dark.
Man.
And this movie was just it was sometimes so bad it was actually so good. The action was insane. It's like
Were there that many campy moments?
There
though?
was, it was perfectly 90s campy movie. If you grew up watching the show, I didn't actually watch the show as a kid. Maybe I watched a
did.
couple episodes. But if you grew up as a kid, you will love this movie. You will appreciate the hell out of this movie because the amount of detail they take to just
Yeah, because
To
gold
just-
bar is literally made out of fucking gold.
to do.
Dude, there's.
It is. He probably has it on his list, so I'm gonna let him go. I'll let him go into more further detail about.
We have this guy named Goldar. Let's make him out of gold. What the fuck?
That was
Literal
perfect.
gold? Yes.
That was perfect.
But to be fair,
fucking gold for people's teeth gold.
To
Like,
be,
come
but
on.
to be fair, like in the original series, he was also gold. I mean,
But he's a person in a suit. They didn't go and get gold from everywhere, including people's mouths.
It was. I don't know. It was still good. It was.
I'm just trying to remember.
It
What
was
was the
just-
donut company again?
Doesn't
My God.
Rita mention Krispy Kreme?
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah.
clearly eating like them, like she's like wicked satisfied. She's like, and this is actually really good. I don't know if that's good. Like,
It's like,
like
this is
like
the one
so
thing
good.
I will not kill on this
so,
planet.
yeah,
is
so
Krispy
good.
Kremes.
Even evil
Even
villains.
evil villains will not
Well, it
kill
is
that
Krispy
one.
Kreme. I mean, I'm a diabetic, and if you put me in Krispy Kreme, I'm gonna have a fucking donut. Like, I don't care if I die.
It was just perfectly. It was that perfect camp. That's what it was. Perfect camp. And then my last honorable mention, The Great Wall. I know a lot of people hated it, but you know what? It was an entertaining movie. There really wasn't much to it.
Is this wait? Is this honorable mention?
This is honorable
or
mention.
Is this like guilty pleasure?
This was honorable mention.
I could see
Guilty pleasure was John Wick. Honorable mention right now was Dunkirk, Power Rangers, and Great Wall. Great Wall was just fun. That's all it was. It was fun. There wasn't much of it.
It was a good action movie.
It was a good action movie. It was fun.
Solid.
Full disclosure, I never saw it. I just watched
It
highlights.
was.
Oh, you should see the whole thing. It's great.
You know, if you're just like kind of bored some night, watch it. You'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it.
I
So
will. Okay.
there you go. So just to go over again: best movie, Bright; worst movie, Justice League; Let Down; best. Excuse me.
Best letdown.
You can say
That's a new category.
The best letdown, Star Wars: The Last Jedi; guilty pleasure, John Wick 2; honorable mentions, Dunkirk, Power Rangers, Great Wall.
Steve's turn.
All right.
Go, Steve.
So I'm gonna be a little controversial at times.
Oh my
I
god.
don't really care.
All right, let's go.
Deal with it. All right. So best movie of the year. It's a bit of a tie. It was a tie. It was very close. Wonder Woman was the winner. I think Wonder Woman was fabulous. It had a lot of really great moments. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Gal Gadot's an amazing actress.
I agree.
The cinematography was amazing. A lot of the scenes in it were just so well done.
They ruined it in the trailer, but the scene when she goes to No Man's Land,
yes.
I like
That was
I was like cheering.
forget the
There was
she's
actually
a woman bit.
like full
Yeah.
chills.
Right, like
that's
when I saw it in theaters, I didn't say anything, but there's this moment where you're watching going, you fucking go, girl. Like,
Yeah.
because they set it up.
Yeah,
She doesn't just do it. She sets it up. Like, she wants to save people. She sees the baby, and they're like, you can't save everybody.
Can't save-
And she
Yes, I
basically
can.
says, fuck this.
Yeah, I guess I can.
She literally says, well, fuck this, and then jumps up into the out of the trench. I agree 100%. That scene alone, worth it.
All right. So this is where it's going to get controversial because my worst movie of the year, and a lot of people love this movie for some godforsaken reason, was Blade Runner. Blade Runner did one thing really, really well. It made you feel like you were watching Blade Runner. And that was it. It felt like a Blade Runner movie. Because I saw the first one about a month before I saw the second one. I think that's the reason we
I have to agree.
It had very good presence. The music was spot on. It was that. But
See,
everything else was terrible.
What do you mean?
It was boring. There was like I was bored. I almost fell
supposed to
asleep.
like engulf the visuals.
Yeah, but like look
I
at
did. I engulfed the visuals, and then the rest of my brain died. It was terrible.
You feel like you're in this big giant world. Sorry, Steve, but you feel like you're in this big world, which it does a great job of.
It does, and then
but
nothing happens
on
in
the
it.
level of like shrinking it down, like look at what's her name, his chief, like the boss.
Yeah.
And spoiler, she gets killed by what's her name?
That was one of the most exciting parts of the movie.
Where's her security? She's the head of the fucking LAPD in the future.
I cared so little that she died that it just because I didn't feel any attachment to
The
her.
world is huge, but you feel like no one gives a shit about anybody.
Yeah, because there's nothing to give a shit about.
It's almost like modern day LA.
Yet in real life, you'd see a fucking news report. So and so was killed tonight at 10.
Well, speaking of modern day LA, the runner-up to best movie was definitely Bright.
See, I don't understand.
I think Bright was absolutely fabulous. It did a great job.
So wait, is this your guilty pleasure?
No, this is my runner-up. I have a different guilty pleasure.
Okay, so you have
His
a new
guilty
category.
pleasure is also Wonder Woman.
We didn't say runner-up, Steve.
Oh, you know what? I'm including a runner-up.
Just go.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah,
It was an utterly fabulous movie.
Yeah.
So biggest letdown was, I have to agree with Bill, was Star Wars. I am a Star Wars nerd. I have read.
You think it's the biggest letdown, but you're the biggest defender of it?
I was very let
Those
down by it.
aren't actually
They're not
mutually
mutually-
exclusive.
no, they're not.
Yeah, like
No.
you could actually think it's the best movie and the biggest letdown. At the
No.
same
I'm just
time.
being a dick. I
I know
agree.
you are. Yeah. It's
No, I
fine.
can see where he's going with that.
I was hoping for so much. I mean, I've read the expanded universe, pretty much all of it. I know more or less everything you can know about Star Wars off the top of my head. I'm an encyclopedia. I was expecting so much for it. There was a lot of good nuggets there if you had read the expanded universe, which
Chicken
Disney
nuggets.
avoided anyway. Nuggets
Sweet
of
sauce.
information, whatever. It was a huge letdown. I expected so much more, but it was also a good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I've seen it 3 times, and I'll probably see it again when it comes out on video. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. It had some major issues. I mean, it did have more plot holes than Swiss cheese, but
I will back you up on that. I agree.
It was a good movie.
I enjoyed
plot
singing.
was terrible, but
If you're a big Star Wars nerd, you'll like the movie. If you're not, you probably won't.
if you
I
like,
agree.
if you like good plot, if you like cohesive,
Alright, you
this
can
and
see
that,
on its bare bones
if you
merit,
like-
I agree
if
with
you like character development,
Alright.
Save it for you.
It's another video for another fucking day.
I
Yeah.
still have 2 more to edit.
That's why I quit talking about certain films here.
So, Guilty Pleasure was also
wonderful.
wonderful. Great. It was also Star Wars a little bit because a lot of people don't like it, a lot of people like it. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a good Star Wars movie. And a lot of people disagree with that, and I know a lot of people disagree with that. A lot of people are wrong, what can I say?
Jesus, Steve.
Hey, I speak the truth.
The likes of the video just went.
I speak only the truth.
It's like the typical YouTuber. Everyone is wrong except me.
Hey,
I respect your opinion, but you're fucking wrong.
I'm sorry if I told the truth, okay? Alright, so...
Well, I mean,
Alright.
that's if you take that statement literally, you are sorry when you tell the truth because your opinions are usually so wrong.
Coming from the guy that thinks Star Wars was bad. So honorable mentions, there's a few of them. Thor, I thought was... I'm torn about Thor. Thor was a good movie, but at the same point it wasn't a good movie. But it wasn't good enough or bad enough in either direction to really push it. Either way, it was sort of just a movie. It was there. It has some really good moments, like when Thor jumped into the pit and the Hulk came out, I was like, this is going to be a really cool fight. And he's like, hey, I know that guy, and I'm laughing because it's so funny. There's a lot of very good moments in it. There's too much humor. At the very end, I'm not going to spoil it because you haven't seen it, but there's a moment at the very end when something terrible happens and somebody makes a joke, and I'm like, if I was Thor, I literally would have punched him in the face because your joke is so intense.
The joke is funny, but I agree with you.
Yeah, if the joke
Even
is
I was
funny,
like,
but I'm like,
wait a
I
minute.
would literally slug that guy because you're
Yeah.
being that much of a dick.
It's almost like I said before, the movie couldn't figure out what it wanted to do.
It couldn't figure
No,
out.
I thought it figured out what it wanted to do. It really wanted to make people laugh and not have to deal with sad dramatic moments.
But you can't have the sad
No, you
dramatic
can't.
shit at the same time.
No.
No, I know, and that's why they made
Yeah.
jokes.
Alright.
Like they knew exactly what they wanted to do,
Yeah.
and they nailed it. It just sucked.
Also, come on, how funny would that have been if it wasn't in the trailer? When when Hulk shows up and he's like, and you're like, oh fuck, and then he's like, aha, I know that guy from work. How funny would that have been in the theater the first time you see it?
Yeah.
I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I never actually saw that trailer, so I did have that reaction, and I was just laughing. I thought it was the best thing.
Yeah, I do feel that about a lot of.
That
I
could be said for
I
any
didn't see
movie.
Jumanji,
It's one
but
of the reasons I don't watch trailers
that
anymore.
one part where he's like, "Oh, my weakness is cakes," and then he eats cake. It's like, oh, nothing happens. And it like explodes. Like, had you seen that for the first time in the
haven't
movie,
seen that.
Would have been
it
so
would have
bad.
been absolutely hilarious. But like now that you've
Instead-
seen
Is
it
that
now,
movie worth it? Is
I haven't
that
seen it.
compared to
I
the
haven't
original
seen it.
Jumanji?
Apparently people like it. And it's supposed to have some relation to the original somehow.
Pirate Bay.
Oh, we should watch it. Okay, so
No,
the
we
next
support creators.
Like taxes.
So my next honorable mention is Justice League. I am not I'll be honest, I'm not a comics person, I'm not a DC person, I'm not really even that much of a Marvel person. I only found out relatively recently the difference between DC and Marvel. I don't do comics, and I don't really do superheroes a lot until relatively recently. So I didn't know what to expect going into it, and I had a fun time. It was an enjoyable movie for me. I actually ended up watching Batman vs. Superman basically the next day, and I understood a lot more of it. But
You watch it after?
Yes, I did.
Ooh, okay.
So it explained a lot of what
I
I
didn't know
missed.
that. I thought you watched it beforehand.
No, I didn't. The last one I'd seen was Wonder Woman. It's the only one I'd seen from this timeline.
Okay.
Time frame,
watched
whatever.
Man of Steel.
So, still haven't seen that. It's on my couch though. So I thought it was a good movie. It did have some issues. There were some confusing things based on what people were saying if you hadn't watched the previous movie. But I still enjoyed it without having had watched that movie. So I am going to say that Power Rangers was another one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah,
I was very hesitant to watch this movie because when he said that you should watch Power Rangers, I'm like,
Steve's like,
no,
I hate
why
you.
would I watch Power Rangers? How are we friends? Why would I talk to you ever again? Then he's like, no, seriously, we're coming over to your house, we're gonna watch it. I'm like, fine, okay. I watched it, I'm like, okay, this is actually a good movie. Yes, I cringed every time I heard the words, it's morphing time.
I only
but
heard them a few times.
I know, and I cringed each time I heard it.
but they don't say it with the same enthusiasm as the original.
But it's
not supposed to be as campy as
it was such a throwback.
I'll give a defense of it.
I'd love to hear that.
Not defense, like an exposition of why it's fantastic.
So, but the movie was very good. The visuals were very good. The acting was good. The story was good. It was a very enjoyable movie. I walked out of it. I walked into it not really knowing what to expect. I walked out of it enjoying it. The Great Wall was another honorable mention for me. It's a good movie. It's actiony. It's kind of just there. It's there for you to enjoy. It's not. It does. They weren't trying to.
It takes up a shelf on it.
I'm just interested in how you guys divvy up like honorable mentions from guilty pleasures, because like to me that's a guilty pleasure movie, as like opposed to.
That's why I kept my categories separate from each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so. I just thought it was a good overall movie. It was a lot of fun. It's not something you can take seriously whatsoever.
I did not see it. I'm not the only person here that didn't see it.
You should really see it. It's worth seeing.
I heard horrible fucking things about it.
I mean, you hear horrible things about Star Wars.
No, like legit, like end of the world shit about this movie, like waste of money.
Really?
Blah blah blah.
Well, people
This is about the Great Wall.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
The one with Matt Damon?
It's
in China?
To be honest, I look at it like it's just another Chinese kung fu movie, except with a few American actors.
Yeah, it wasn't even that. It was just.
That's like that's the comment. Like this was just in Chinese.
Yeah, it was just fun to watch. It was enjoyable to watch. It had gorgeous visuals.
Yeah,
I mean. So last movie I'm gonna mention.
Did you all see it?
Yeah.
Would you say that I should watch it, or just
100% watch it?
Would I be better off watching it with you to just dick around with and have fun?
I think it's like a dick around movie, like get drunk and just.
Yeah, you can watch that movie drunk and not lose.
If it's one of those nights where you're like, hey, I don't want anything particularly serious, maybe not a comedy, like you just.
So it's not as bad as I heard, but it's still pretty bad. Like
if you want
to, it's a throwaway movie.
It's a throwaway movie.
This is a movie that if you go to Walmart, it'll be in the $5 dump bin.
Yeah, I mean, if you paid like $3 for it, that's it.
I have a respect for like the Chinese history kind of thing.
It was really cool.
It was cool, but it's okay. Fine.
All right. So last movie, Dunkirk. I hated it. I really did.
Why did you hate it?
Because so
hate's a strong word.
It is. It was boring. I actually didn't understand the whole time frame thing until about a week after I watched it when we did our review of it, and they explained it to me. It was just confusing. They didn't lay it out clearly enough. There wasn't really any enjoyable action. There was action. I did not enjoy it.
I thought there action was. I'll get into it.
I mean, it's just it just wasn't a fun movie. I came in expecting a good war movie, and I walked out like, why did I just waste my money on this? So I'd say it's a runner-up for worst movie of the year, but that's just me.
Wow.
But
the question is Michael pizza cutter?
Actually, I don't have a pizza cutter.
Mother of God, right?
No.
I mean, I have a gun.
Alright, guys, so I'm going to kind of do what Smitty did. I'm going to start with my honorable mentions first, and there's going to be kind of a theme about them. So, I'm going to start with The Circle, Emma Watson, who's the guy from Castaway?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. And with a not really a cameo, but John Boyega's in it, and I'm appreciating what
I wanted to see that movie, I didn't see it.
It's fascinating.
Is it?
It's a great social commentary. I actually think, like, and I love the ending, I'm not going to throw it away, but, like, they didn't do a redeeming ending, or, like, the point they made is a point that I don't think a movie would typically make, and I really appreciate what they did and what they had to say. So, to me, like, The Circle was really an underappreciated movie. So, Bright, again, social commentary was
really?
just, I really love the social commentary, and as long as you don't think too hard about the world, it's really good. It's really fun. There are dragons and centaurs. Enough said. So,
yeah. Centaur or centaur?
Potato.
Whatever.
And then the documentary "I'm Not Your Negro" about James Baldwin. Who?
What's that about?
About James Baldwin.
Yeah, but what
Okay,
category?
so I actually didn't know this. So James Baldwin was he was a black intellectual, or African American intellectual, during roughly the same time as, I believe, MLK and Malcolm X. But how would I want to describe? I don't want to say, he was kind of like the high society version, where like he was kind of like an artist, like, so he was a critic from almost like academia, you could say, where like Malcolm X, it would be like almost militant radical. MLK is kind of the not the separatist, but would be like about peace between the races and whatever, and staying together. But James Baldwin was kind of like an intellectual art critic, social. So it was just about like his experience and how I think it's all based around him trying to write this book about Malcolm X, MLK, and I forget, there was another civil rights. No, I don't think it was Frederick. Another civil rights
much older
name. Yeah, so it was just fascinating because it showed me a whole history I didn't see. And there's like this one moment I remember of, they're just showing clips from the South during the civil rights era, and you see like people flying Nazi flags, and you gotta think like how effed up that is, right? Like just on its own, it's effed up. But like this is, so that was like the 60s.
Yeah.
So you're talking like 20 years removed
From World War II.
World War II, right? So there's a good chance some of those people literally were in a war against the Nazis.
I did
see them like flying flags and
I
stuff.
did see
it's
something.
just-
I watched something on Facebook where there actually was a group of Nazis who actually were in New York in like the early 40s, even into World War II. They actually had a massive rally there. There was a massive protest to it, and I think that was even bigger.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of sympathizers even back then.
Yeah, and so like that was
It's
fascinating.
scary to think about that.
Because I'd expect the neo-Confederate bullshit, but
Yeah.
like
People
to see like literally people flying Nazi flags. That's 20 years. I don't know why that surprised me, but like
it still pisses me off and doesn't surprise me today that there are still people out there who support
yeah, but like
Nazis.
I don't want to say
It's
like I can at least understand, but like it's so far removed, right? Like it's 2 generations since World War II.
Oh, are you
It's
talking
still
about how
just
like
20
20 years after World War II, people were fucking
Yeah.
flying?
Yeah, like I couldn't imagine like how do those people not get the shit beat out of them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like.
How do they exist?
Like, can you
period?
imagine, like, your friends, your family members, like, were literally killed by Nazis in World
And you're
War II.
flying their damn
And you're
flags.
flying- yeah,
Your
I
fellow
mean-
countrymen were killed by these people,
It's,
and you're flying that
Yeah.
it's
flag.
like a disassociation from reality.
Yeah, and so, like, that movie is really fascinating. It's really interesting. So those are my honorable mentions. The whole social thing. I think The Circle could have been one of my best movies of the year, but I don't think it was quite up there. So for best movies of the year, Blade Runner, 2049. I like the story. I really do, and I like the twist they do. Where they build you up thinking something about the main character.
Yeah, and they just like.
But it's artificial because he's artificial, so it's all made. If he was human, so spoilers, whatever, we've all seen it. If said person was human,
the main character,
and he was implanted with these artificially, and he's a human, blah blah blah, but he's artificial. So when they do the spoiler, I see your point. There's a lot of cool moments, but as soon as you figure it out, you're like, oh well, he's a replicant. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can program him to sing "Howdy Doody Time" forever, and it doesn't matter. Like
No,
he's
I
a
have that thought
robot.
in my head.
No.
Yeah, but the way they build it up, because if we're doing spoilers, like, it's a fascinating thing where it's like you perceive yourself as the hero of the story or the special one, but in reality it's someone else. like I think there's something very unique about this identity shattering where you think, oh, maybe I am the special. Well, I mean, that's kind of throwing in it. But I also love the visuals. Like, I really dived into
It's
that
strong.
world. Like, it's so beautiful.
You get immersed in this world.
as you said, they even actually, I've seen video. They even actually they built massive models for this city.
Yeah.
And they did the blending with the CGI. That's why it looks so beautiful.
Yeah, and then there's like the fight scene when they're like
In the
kind of in
beginning?
the ocean.
Oh yeah, that's
Like,
a good.
that was so effing brutal.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like there was something so raw
I
about
like
it.
the first fight
And
scene
just-
better.
Which one was that?
When he was fighting, what's his name? The guy who plays Drax.
Oh, yeah.
Drax from Guardians.
Yeah. He was a former wrestler, right?
Right. Well, yeah, but you don't realize that. So as soon as shit hits the fan, and he starts slamming his head into the drywall and the studs, you're like, wait a minute, this guy's not human. And then you find out that he's a replicant.
That fight
but that first fight scene, you're like, whoa, this guy's getting his fucking ass beat. But then he just like shoves it off.
Then you're. Yeah, see, that's why I love this movie. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that. And that fight scene was, like, now that you remind me, it's wonderful. The actor, and I feel bad for forgetting.
Ryan Reynolds?
No, not Ryan Reynolds. Crushed it. He did so good.
No,
was it?
Dave Bautista?
Oh, no.
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Sorry, Ryan Gosling.
What did I say? Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, that's Deadpool. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. New Year's freaking
Yeah. They actually look kind of similar. So,
yeah,
like,
they do.
Yeah. But the acting in this, I thought, was crushed. They did such a good job acting in Blade Runner, and I can see how someone would think.
Do you see my point though with his chief?
I mean, yeah, you're making a lot of valid points. It was good
I
acting.
can see the chief not being.
How it's like, where's her security? Where's everybody else in the police station? Like, I only see a few people.
Yeah.
Unless she was able to like.
No, I can see that that's a problem. I mean, I think
the world seems really, really small, but it's really, really.
But that's one of the beauties of this. Like, it's just it's just a story of a cop.
But the first movie did a better job of showing a bigger world than the second movie did. It really, in my opinion.
It did. No, that's why I make that argument.
In the first movie, you felt like it only took place in one city, but you're like, this city's friggin' huge. In this one, in the second one, it takes place in multiple locations, and you're just left with wanting more.
But
I didn't feel. I wasn't really impressed.
You really want to explore more about this world offers.
I
mean, I would like to see more of what it offers. I would have liked to see a little more action.
See, I just thought for
more
me,
enjoyable action. At least.
Oh, okay, I like the action. I thought for me,
it's beautiful.
It was beautiful.
And then, you know what?
I do like the story. I do wish we learned a lot more about like Jared Leto's character.
Oh, he was wasted. The second movie of the year.
I don't want to say he was wasted, but
he's in it for like 2 minutes.
I think I want to see more of the character. I don't think he.
Okay, I'll agree with you. His character
but
was
it was
wasted.
also a long movie too, so I can kind of understand. No, I know.
He's supposed to be the guy who creates the shit, and you see him twice.
But he's kind of not as important. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing was.
But the trailer made him look like he's gonna be in the whole fucking movie.
They had 3 hours to play with. They could have done more with them.
I think it was like 2.5.
No, they really could have done more.
I'm not saying they couldn't, but like, for me, it's like it's a wanting more and not in a bad way. Like, I can see that as a criticism, but to me, it's.
Can we say that? Am I the only one that got attached to that artificial intelligence that he loved?
She did such a good job.
And then when she gets stepped on and broken, I was like,
this movie almost does a beautiful job because like. Even though she's a program, and she's programmed to love him.
What's that movie with what's her name?
Right.
Her.
Yeah, but you still feel like she genuinely loves him.
And
when she does like the self-sacrifice, like it's just a program, and she's programmed for that.
And he's reaching out to get the thing, and it gets stepped on. You're like, oh.
And it's so beautiful because for me it makes you feel these relationships. You feel like, oh, he's living this shitty, boring life. And you can really see that, like, his perception of himself as a replicant.
But what does that mean?
Harms himself.
What does that mean, though, if he's a replicant and he has a computer program that is designed to love him and cherish him?
I don't know what it means. And I think at some level, like, there was a conflict in him when he kind of maybe conflict when he recognized with the giant hologram, opinion on him or whatever.
And it's not her, it's just another version
that's
of her.
Why it asked these interesting questions, and it was a beautiful movie. And I can see how you would think it's boring. Like, I totally see that. For me,
I don't think it's boring, I just think some scenes could have been utilized better.
I was totally bored.
So, like, but for me, I thought the original, maybe it's because we're so removed. Harrison Ford, I thought, did a terrible job acting.
I don't know.
In the original, for me, it felt a little boring. I see how there's a lot of stuff in the original movie.
I did like the
I thought this was a lot.
The original was more exciting.
I think I'm the only one who actually really liked the original.
Here, yeah.
Yeah.
So people argue, like, what's the character Edward James Olmos? And then he has the cameo in this movie, which I like.
Wait, he was in the movie?
Yes.
Wait, Edward James Olmos was in the movie?
Yes, he was.
He was in the nursing home.
Yeah.
What? Oh,
yeah, he was in
man.
it for maybe a minute.
Oh, I need to rewatch that. I need to rewatch that scene because I love that character.
Yeah, so now I'm going to move on to, because I kind of split, I loved It. It was another really good movie. Even though, like, we already had the made-for-TV movies.
The miniseries.
Yeah. This did a fantastic job.
Oh god, yeah.
I will
And
say.
no, you're not a horror film.
No, I'm not a horror movie person, but I thought it did a fantastic job.
There were a lot of, like, terrifying movies. And whoever played It, you crushed it.
Yes.
You did such a good job. Those children, the child actors, I know one of them was in Stranger Things, crushed it in that. Also crushed it. All of them crushed it. Like, it was weird, the weird sexuality in it. Like, it was just like a kind of disconcerting film, but in such a perfectly done way.
I'm a huge Stephen King fan, and I've seen all of his, like, you know, the miniseries, the movie. Like, Maximum Overdrive, I don't know if you guys have seen it, the movie where the truck come alive. And that's one of my all-time... Yeah, I know, I fucking showed you the movie. I'm not gonna lie, so I didn't see this in theaters, I saw it at home. Let's just say I acquired a copy of the film.
Well, we know how, yeah.
And, no, I don't do that often.
You don't have to tell us.
I don't do it that often.
Just continue.
So, I'm not gonna lie, the opening scene, because if you watch the miniseries, you know, he grabs the kid, and what's his name? The younger kid.
I forget, because I've
he grabs him, pulls him into the sewer, you're like, oh shit. So in this movie, I'm watching it, and he fucking spoiler, rips his arm off, and the kid is like crawling away.
Oh my god.
The whole time, I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. You know what's one of the
Like,
most
holy shit.
there's a lot of disconcerting moments in this. But one of the ones I think that like was so subtle, but it was when the African American kid was getting beat up, and like it looks like they're gonna like kill him. But in the distance, like in the like weeds, you see it, and I feel like he was like eating something.
He had an arm
But like he was just like messing around. It was like so like
and waving at him.
almost
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What
yeah.
the fuck
No.
are you talking about?
When they're outside
they're-
at like the river,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
and they're beating up on the black kid, and you look off and he's
Does it come into play, or is it just...
he's actually in the reeds. He's in the
And
reeds.
that's why it's so hard.
I didn't fucking see that.
Go watch
Rewatch
it. It is terrifying because of its subtlety. Because like it's like there's like a no win. Like if he runs away, it is there. So like it's this. Oh my
It
god.
is there.
Yeah. No, but that's
Where'd
why
it
it's
go?
so terrifying. Because it is almost like enjoying it. It's like, hey, come, escape, and then I'll kill you. So like this movie was fantastic. So those.
Does he see him, though, or no?
No, the African American kid does see him.
Okay, so I thought he
Michael?
didn't see him, and he's like...
Maybe.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
There's just one funny thing about that movie, because most of it's terrifying, most of it's
The dance.
no, not the dance.
That part kind of sucked.
That didn't make me laugh. But there is one weird part in this movie that doesn't fit at all because it's supposed to be horror, terrifying, and then when they're cleaning up the bathroom, they have like this 80s
It's an 80s movie. You gotta have a montage.
They have this 80s montage music. They're all happily cleaning up everything.
Yeah,
it is like one of the weirdest moments
It
in this
really
movie.
is.
Continue.
How about the scene when they're using the Kodak the wheel? The scene where they're doing the clip show.
Yeah, see, and then he like
that was
because when he appears in the clip show,
fantastic.
you're like, oh fuck! But then when they knock it down, you're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, and
But then
like,
he pops up again, and then of course it's the scene where, and you know, oh my god, like,
yeah.
okay.
So yeah. All right. So this is also best movie, kind of for me, but also guilty pleasure. Power Rangers. Okay.
Mike,
People need to
explain.
know. Okay. Power Rangers is Chronicle, a great movie, mixed with The Breakfast Club, a great movie.
What the fuck?
And I saw The Breakfast Club afterwards.
Oh my god!
But it's actually really, it is the
That
Chronicle.
really is the best.
So it's a bunch of like reject kids on detention,
Yes.
and then it's like Chronicle where they go into like
Yes.
a kind of a cave. Well, that they actually do go into a cave.
A literal cave.
And then, but like that's not where they find their powers. They find a little, and they get their powers. So it's like this weird, like it's this mashup. And I thought it was a good job. I'd say that's not quite best movie because I actually found when they became Power Rangers was a little too campy. Like it was almost too much of a callback.
But you gotta do it anyway.
You do, but like to me, like it was just a little. I do like. There's a lot of like subtlety in this movie, and one day I'm gonna make like a philosophical defense because it's just a really interesting movie because it does take the elements of Chronicle, and it plays with them. And also the way this movie dealt with Rita as a villain, like, I think she's the best villain I've seen in a long time.
She was just evil.
A little too cheesy here and there.
Save for it, but her cheesiness was also, besides the Krispy Kreme, like,
That was fun.
it made her character, like, seem
She was believable.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what did it for me was the moments when she just, like, murdered people. And, like, Hela from Thor, she murdered people, but it almost didn't feel...
Yeah, because
As
as soon as she
vicious.
murders someone, it
It
cuts to
wasn't.
them.
She just did it.
Because
Celebrating.
she's just, like, throwing,
Yeah,
like...
she killed so many people.
She
so
killed the
fast.
hero's 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She killed Thor's 3 best friends out of 4 in seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the movie didn't even elaborate. Like,
Yeah.
oh fuck. Even I in the theater, I was like, whoa, you just killed blank, blank, and blank.
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, go watch our
Yeah.
video about it on the Movie Muses.
Yeah.
We rip it.
Did you guys? I wasn't there. Did you realize that too?
Yeah, we
Except,
found out
what's
how
her name?
dumb
Except
it
the chick, she killed
Yeah.
off
Yeah,
the hero's
so yeah,
3.
we're pretty sure that they
like-
had a thing in their contract where if they were on screen for more than 30 seconds, they'd have to pay them more. So, but Rita, like, she felt like
It's
almost a
it's
monster.
personal. She
Like-
almost made the
when she
murders
murders
feel
people,
personal.
yeah. Like when
It's-
she's in the gold, like in the jewelry thing, like
yes.
when she kills the homeless guy, like it feels vicious. Like she feels like a horror movie monster.
Yeah.
And when they're in the boat and they're like
Oh my
all
God,
5 of the
yeah.
Power Rangers are like, all right, we're gonna fight her without our suits on, and she wrecks them. Like that to me, like you feel how powerful she is.
Mhm.
But you know they're gonna come back at the end. It's
No,
just
no, that's not
okay,
the point
but,
though.
like,
But
yeah,
the
but,
point is that
You could say
the
that
point is
about
that
all movies. if you-
exactly. Yeah. The point is that she
felt dangerous.
she felt dangerous. She felt evil. She felt like malicious. Really,
Yeah.
it was malice. She emanated
Yeah.
malice.
But the beauty of it, and this is where the philosophical defense is, like where Chronicle is basically the tale of Plato's The Cave. Basically, these people go into a cave and they find. In Plato, it's a ring that makes them invisible, like in Lord of the Rings, and like, oh, do they become evil or what?
now
Exactly.
you're getting medieval on us, Mike.
What? No, yeah, philosophical. Sorry, I'm a
I've
little,
never
I'm a little
played since
drunk
high
now.
school.
I'm a little drunk now, but
What?
but yeah, well, I just pounded a beer in like 10 minutes.
okay.
But it's philosophical in the sense that Rita, again, she's malicious and evil, but what you see in her is that she really hated the fact that Zordon, was
you're-
that
okay.
Zordon like
You're saying
like
she-
Zordon like judged her, like she took the
it's like
power
Hela.
and she took the power and she was using it for personal gain, where you were supposed to use it to defend life, defend stuff, and she went evil. And you can see it through the movie where she's like, no, you don't have the right to judge me. So she and if you use the allegory of the cave, she failed the test. She's the evil person. If you gave him power, she would go dark.
She can't
And-
pick up Thor's hammer.
Yeah, I guess. But like this is like it's deeper, and this is why it's beautiful. Like you see that, and you see the Rangers, and she's trying to corrupt the Yellow Ranger. Yeah, that's my dog. And like to me, that's why it's beautiful, because it's like what happens. It's like a different telling.
So she has a humanitarian side to her, even
It's
though
not
she's
humanitarian
the villain.
so
Not
much, but
humanitarian.
you can see
she
like
feels real.
she feels real. Like she doesn't
feels
feel
really
like
real. She doesn't feel like Marvel's hero, of
Yeah.
the villain of the month. She feels like, so unlike, as I said, with Marvel, it's the hero, it's
Yeah.
the villain of the month. And it's like, okay, we know for a fact that when the Avengers come out, they're gonna wreck this guy. It's all over.
Yeah.
But with Rita, you're really wondering. Like, I knew it was a superhero movie. I knew deep down inside of me they're all gonna win in the end. But at the same point, you're watching her basically own this entire little town, and you're saying to yourself, how can these kids possibly
The
defeat her?
thoughts in your
Like,
head. She might win.
yeah, and you believe it. You
Can we-
believe she might win.
Can we give a
Because she's that
spoiler?
good.
Because I want like
Just
Go
go
for
out.
it,
It's
go for
been
it.
out.
okay,
Spoiler,
spoiler.
it's been out for
When
a
she kills the Blue Ranger, now they telegraph that he can come back, but I was like, holy fuck,
Yeah.
they just killed the Blue Ranger.
It's like
And
she
then,
killed one of the heroes. You don't
And that's
kill heroes.
what, yeah, and like you realize, a moment later, like, oh, she can bring him back, but there was a sacrifice because Zordon couldn't come back.
Yeah.
That was the trade-off,
Mhm.
and like that moment where they killed it was so beautiful. So
Well, it was just because she was just evil.
yeah,
It's hard to. She's the opposite of the Marvel's villain
Yeah.
of the month. Is kind of the point.
so that's my defense of Power Rangers. All right. now I'm gonna cut and deal with my dog. Because...
Picking up.
So,
Hold on. Okay.
alright, so I'm gonna go with biggest disappointments first because I needed to get it. Yeah. Because I
You've been talking for 20 minutes. Alright, so first.
Alright, listen, this is my second
Finally
beer in
beginning.
like 15 minutes, so.
Well, in the end of the universe, yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was a full Marco Rubio for a moment.
Is he still relevant?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's a
okay.
senator.
Oh.
Alright, so basically, biggest disappointments, anything made by Disney. Now, to be
Wow. That's like the world, Mike.
Now, to be fair, I didn't see every Disney movie. I didn't see like Coco, and I'm sure like that's animated, it's probably better. All right, well, Disney plus Justice League. So, Pirates, runner up for our worst movie of the year.
I totally forgot.
Guardians
about
of the Galaxy, horribly disappointing. Hey, we're gonna have a villain that could literally end the universe, and he almost does. He's like literally
He's a
minutes.
cunt hair away from ending the universe.
Yeah,
That was
it's
really
close.
Not even a hair, cunt hair.
But guess what?
Sorry.
Afterwards, we don't hear jack shit about it. Okay, fine, fuck it. And I don't think
agree.
I don't think it worked as well. Spider-Man: Homecoming. It was okay. It was. I didn't hate it. I wasn't.
I liked it. I thought it was fun.
I
The
thought it was
guy that got
decent.
to play Spider, I can't think of his name. The
I
guy
forget.
that plays Spider-Man is
He
good.
did a good job.
He's good as Spider-Man.
I like who's the other guy from The Amazing Spider-Man?
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew
Personally,
Garfield
Andrew
or-
Garfield, I like as an actor,
I do.
and I liked him.
I do.
I liked his Spider-Man.
I do too, and I'm kind of. It's kind of one of those things where I'm kind of pissed that they left that universe and went with this one.
Yeah.
In that universe, do you remember the last movie?
Spider-Man 2?
Do you remember when they killed Gwen Stacy?
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
As a guy who doesn't follow the comics, when I saw that,
Oh.
Alright.
No, where was it from the?
I'm still filming. I'll just fucking edit it.
No, I know, but we don't know where.
Where did the video drop off when it
Yeah.
cut out?
Well, I mean, when you mentioned it, it was Mike in the middle of explaining.
Yeah, I think that's when that's
You were talking Amazing Spider-Man.
you were talking about the Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll just do from the.
Dude, go from the top of that.
Okay.
Technical issues. We're back. Yay!
Yeah, technical issues. So I'm just gonna start with disappointments again. Anything made by Disney in the Justice League. Pirates, one of the worst movies of the year. I mean, to be fair, I only saw like 20 some odd movies this year.
I couldn't even remember.
So
that
to
movie.
be like, yeah, that's why I didn't put it as the worst because I couldn't remember how bad it was.
I forgot about
So-
its existence entirely.
yeah.
So we'll get to that. Guardians again, disappointing, world-ending, universe-ending boss, whatever. No one
Do you
gave a
want to know
shit.
what the only complaint I have about that movie, real quick?
Which one, Guardians?
So yeah, so
Uh,
I liked the movie. I thought there was some humor, right?
This is for me.
Ego.
It's disappointing. It's
Right.
not necessarily a bad movie,
It's a
but
good movie. It just
Well,
could've
what's
been more.
disappointing to me is the simple shit. Ego, right? He plants all this shit in the galaxy to take over the galaxy. He plants a seed of himself.
yeah,
He plants this shit 50 feet or 100 feet, 200 feet from a 7-Eleven or some shit.
And nobody notices.
You mean to tell me that nobody in the fucking 50 years figured out, whoa, what's this thing? It doesn't look like that.
see, this is why I'll forgive that. I mean, yes, it is ridiculous, but that happens. Like you'll find, like, oh, an ancient ruin was discovered like 10
In
feet under
Egypt
someone.
or some shit,
Yeah.
not
No,
North
but it'll be,
Dakota,
like, it'll
America.
be like 5 feet under the
Okay,
ground.
then
Like,
again, it is North Dakota.
yeah, it's okay. So it's in North Dakota. Do you think there's a lot of people that?
There
are like,
is
oh,
not a lot of growth.
well, actually,
in
there's
those
probably a lot of outdoorsmen. To be fair,
It's America. The FBI, boom, all over it.
No, I mean, the
That's
areas.
my
That was
massive
it.
point.
NASA like saw it on a satellite.
But like, so like to me again, it was disappointing. It's just like because Marvel can't. They
Anybody
make
else
like
tear up
mediocre
with,
movies.
what's his name?
Marvel makes mediocre movies. Thor, I thought was actually legit. Because I didn't agree with the sensibilities of Thor, so that's my complaint. So that's why it's not the worst movie. It was just like, yeah, my dog. She's like a cat. I didn't.
Oh, I'm gonna that top. Oh,
I didn't agree with the sensibilities of the movie, so to me that's where it lost a lot of points. But I can see how
Mary
theoretically.
Poppins, Joel.
Yeah, Mary. That was actually funny.
No, that's the funniest
That was
fucking.
that was what the
funny.
Sony agreed.
It's
Yeah.
emotional too. Like, okay, they blew up. Fuck.
Yeah, that's why like it was an okay
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
It's just like it's like a throwaway movie, and it has like no major consequences, even though it should have massive consequences.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man again, blah movie. It was okay. The Vulture was actually one of the more interesting villains. What else did they? I feel like Thor. Did we talk? Thor is one of the. Yeah, that was one of the ones we were talking about.
Yeah.
Thor's.
Who hit the button on the mic?
How much did we?
How much did we lose?
Someone hit the button on the mic.
And nobody touched it.
I didn't touch the mic.
Nobody touched it.
Yeah, just sitting there.
Okay, whatever. I'll
No. Because you're gonna use the.
It was muted the whole time.
Oh.
The whole video.
Well, if someone pushed the button when we were recording,
Wait. Just.
but it's recording on my end, so I don't.
Yeah, I still see it.
I'll fuck with it.
Just
It's
okay.
fine.
Go.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry again. More technical issues. So yeah, Thor. I hated the sensibilities. I thought it was a really dumb movie. A movie that wouldn't accept the drama in it.
It wouldn't be serious.
Yeah.
Even at the serious moments, it was funny.
Yeah. It refused to take itself seriously when it should have.
Yeah.
Star Wars though. If I had to pick the biggest disappointment in a movie,
Yeah.
it's Star Wars.
I think a lot of
I mean, like
That could've been
you know,
so
you
much
can
more.
you go on a rant. Like, there's so much. The plot's terrible, but even though the plot is terrible, there were moments where it reached out for greatness, and it touched it and failed. 1 second. All right, Rosie. No.
Do you agree?
Yep. Come here.
Yep. Star Wars horrible. Worst movie of the year.
Hey,
No, you're going in the room. Don't give me that dog look.
the dog.
Good luck.
Oh, I think you're trying so hard to catch her too.
Oh, I feel bad because.
No, I feel bad too.
Yeah, really knows.
Just let it be. It's fine. We're gonna finish up here in 4 minutes
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
It's 10:25.
Yeah, you're totally over time.
Alright, fucker.
Alright,
Let's go, Mike. Come on.
Alright,
It's been
sorry.
an
Jesus
hour.
Christ.
Sorry, dog technique. The dog
Dog
troubles.
second.
All sorts of technicalities.
Yeah, I started talking about Star Wars and she agrees it's terrible. So, we went on a massive rant. It was. to me,
Again,
the
I
most-
still have 2 more parts.
The
to add.
trailer, it could have been something. What did Obi-Wan say to Anakin? Like,
Who the fuck knows?
you were supposed to be the one or
He was
something.
supposed to be the chosen
You were the
one.
chosen one.
You were the chosen one, and you failed. You failed. Good job, Star Wars. God
You
damn it!
could have been
It
one of the
could
best
have been-
movies of all time.
It could have been
and
such
yet-
a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it could have been so much
Right,
better.
and it failed.
I
So
hate saying that.
yeah, and then Justice League. I don't know if I talked Justice League. I agree. I don't think it was bad, but it was disappointing. Because I'm a huge fan of Zack Snyder. I love most of the stuff he does. Man of Steel, I think, is fantastic. People hate it because they don't want to deal with the fact that maybe Superman has existential crisis that because he's an alien in a world of humans, he has to deal with all this shit that normal people don't, so he can't relate, because if he tells anyone, then maybe the government will come and capture him, and people have a hard time conceptualizing a Boy Scout version of Superman. So I in general love what Zack Snyder tried to do. Even Batman vs Superman, the director's cut, I thought was really
that
good.
Was so, that was
The
so much better.
theatrical cut, because of the editing, I thought was almost unwatchable. But the director's cut, fantastic. So yeah, those were just disappointing movies. Now, worst movie, Dunkirk.
Your worst
No.
movie of 2017.
Yes, it was boring as fuck. Guess what? I didn't care about anything. And there are moments where they foreshadowed what was going to happen. Oh, they're in a boat. Oh, the guy doesn't want to go down below because maybe the boat will be struck and it will sink. Oh, look, the boat is struck and it sinks.
And
That's
you get
wartime,
to watch the,
No, it's not just wartime, but
It's drowning.
they
they
tell you.
They tell you they're going to do it, and then they do it, and then you get to watch the horror of them dying,
Yeah.
and you're left not giving a shit because you don't even know who they are.
Yeah, you don't know who they are. And
It's like, I don't know who, and I didn't know
and
who
because
any,
they-
know any of them.
Yeah, and because they tell you
Why do you
about it.
care?
I didn't need the
It would've
3
been- it
different
could've been-
timelines that they
Oh,
kind of
that's so
do
annoying.
mysteriously until you realize, oh, they're one. I didn't give a shit about any of the characters because half of them were mute the entire time. They somehow made dog fighting look boring. I don't know how they pulled that off.
Yes,
I
they
Good
wouldn't
did.
job,
say it's-
Christopher Nolan.
I wouldn't say it's
Like
boring.
I would.
you make
would not
you make
call it
some of
I would.
the greatest
Yeah.
goddamn movies. The Dark Knight Rises.
Whoa, what the
Inception.
fuck is the Dark Knight Rises?
No, Dark Knight Rises. Sorry, the Dark Knight. The Dark
When
Knight.
does that come into play?
Let
They're
him
directed.
finish
They're
his
directed.
sentence.
by-
Director.
They're directed by Christopher Nolan.
They're directed by Christopher
Okay.
Nolan. He makes great movies, and then he makes Dunkirk. It sucks. And to me, Dunkirk is like, hey, I'm British. The British really love this story. I'm like, oh, that's us British. Stay calm and carry on, bullshit.
The story
and that's the
of
story.
Dunkirk
It's
and
not interesting
the
because
civilians is historic, dude.
Yeah, I know.
yes, it's
But
historic, and that's why people
and
like
the
it.
history was more interesting than the movie.
And the
Reading about it was more
Did you
interesting
know-
than
And,
watching
no,
it.
and I'll
Did you-
say
hold
this:
on.
they don't give you a sense of perspective
No, they
because
don't.
it's like,
No,
it's
I
like
agree.
500,000 people on this
Yes.
on this
in, like,
beach,
38. It was crazy.
and like you see at most maybe a couple thousand.
Oh, no. I
Like-
read something on that. I agree with that. Did you know
Did I
that
know
the
that-
captain of the Carpathia
the what?
or the Carolina, I honestly forget,
I don't know what.
Yes,
one of the
I
two.
forget too, 'cause
one
it
of the
was
two ships that rescued survivors from the Titanic in 1912 was one of the one of 100 or whatever the amount is, one of the hundreds of civilians who owned a personal vessel, who personally sailed his ship or boat to Dunkirk to rescue soldiers.
Guess what? They don't talk about that in the movie.
Well,
So
that's my
why
point.
it doesn't
That's
matter.
my point. If you had
It's
a guy in the movie,
uninteresting.
it would have been fucking epic.
Okay,
If they show a flashback
so yes,
of Titanic
if they
sinking
had
or
like
whatever.
a cool moment in history, then it would have been a cool movie. Good job. It didn't happen. It dealt with PTSD in what I thought was a nice and interesting way. Like that's what I'll say is a saving grace. Otherwise, I didn't. It's not that I can respect the idea that okay, the Germans are the unseen enemy, right? Like you don't see them, you don't feel them, but you also just don't. Weirdly, you don't feel their presence,
No,
right? Like
there is no. They're
in-
not
Except
present
for
at
the
all.
beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
except
no,
for the
you
30
see-
seconds at the beginning where they're
Yeah.
kind of taking pot shots at these guys running. I think at some point they really should have, they should have thrown a firefight or something to get to make it feel like.
Yeah,
the movie didn't feel.
Yeah, that's the
urgent.
thing. There was,
Yeah,
There was
that's
no.
the thing,
There,
I-
there was,
historically,
like,
there was going to be no firefight because Hitler had ordered the German soldiers to stop.
You're right, and I know that. But the problem is that it would have made it more.
they could have
They
said
would have
that.
done something. They could have said. They could have explained why. If you didn't know
Like,
your
just give
history,
it a little
and you didn't know
claw.
that, then you wouldn't have known.
It was
Then
like-
you would be asking yourself, where are the German soldiers? Why aren't they
Yes.
attacking them? Well, and all that was
Oh, one
required
second.
was a.
All right, I have to put this dog away. Sorry, guys.
No, no, you're not putting me away.
No.
I'll finish that sentence
No.
as soon as he gets back.
Leave her be. She's fine.
No, she was barking, dude, and that's gonna be fucking.
Dude, we have to edit this shit anyway. It's fine.
But you can't edit the middle of Steve's sentence.
I don't know. We'll see.
Don't.
It's just a still shot of Steve. I believe that Dunkirk was the greatest movie of the year.
If I end up saying that in this thing, I know where you fucking live.
Sorry, Steve.
Dunkirk is
Okay,
the greatest
so-
movie of the year.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so all that would have been. Excuse us for the interruption.
God,
All that would have been required to fix a lot of the issues in this movie would be one simple scene. One scene would have solved everything. The German high command bunker with Hitler and the other main generals all saying, "Sir, should we attack the men at Dunkirk?" And Hitler says, "No. They'll never be able to save them in time."
Yeah, and why that's important?
And all that's all that would have been required.
that's all- 'cause
and that
that's
would have
a-
explained everything.
That really wouldn't have worked in this movie because you're
It would have worked
No,
perfectly.
because you're taking the position of the average soldier. You're not dealing with
But
behind
but
command.
Bill, the average person watching the movie might not know the story of Dunkirk. They probably won't
Yeah,
remember
exactly.
the history.
But
Your
they
history
familiarize
might
themselves
not.
with the average
But no,
soldier as opposed to a fucking.
But it
that's-
doesn't.
but-
Okay,
but
I
that's
guess,
when
but
you
it
said,
doesn't.
you know,
But
like-
we're
like,
not
if-
the soldier. We're like I know
Like,
because
why aren't the Germans attacking? A lot of people really ask themselves that question. They had to go look it up. If you have to go look up something because the movie didn't tell you, and it's a historical movie, then they screwed up. They
They
did not do a good job.
because you
Okay,
could
you
have
shouldn't
also.
be getting your entire history just from a movie. It
Oh,
should
but
inspire
you're
you.
right, but
Bill,
that's
it's
not
a
the
basic.
entire-
Bill, it's a basic part of the story.
Yeah.
It's integral to the freaking story, man.
So
Yeah,
that
it
makes
is.
it the worst movie of the year.
Yes.
No, I thought it was boring,
Oh, it was-
uninteresting.
yeah.
I thought I didn't care about the way they structured it. No, I'm serious. Like they made the dogfight
The
between
dogfight
the
was
jets,
boring as hell.
boring, and I just didn't. And a story
didn't
where
care about
like I
characters.
should have cared about the characters.
Well, I think
Like that's the whole thing. I should have cared about the characters,
Yeah.
and I didn't.
basically we
and
have
I
a 40-minute
didn't-
review on this, so I think we can probably agree
Okay.
to
Yeah,
disagree.
agree.
Yeah.
I
right.
agree to
Next.
disagree, and like so, like yeah, that's why to me this was the worst movie I saw this year. So that wraps that up. So
Yay, 2017.
Hopefully,
Jesus.
2018 will be. I
Better
thought
for
there was
movies.
We
I
got a
thought
lot
there
of
was
shit happening this year.
I thought there was a lot of okay movies this
Yeah.
year, or even pretty good movies.
There's also a lot of Netflix shows that we didn't talk about, all that I've been watching. And we
Oh,
didn't
dude,
watch
there's a
any,
lot.
but
Yeah,
BoJack
There's a lot
Horseman.
yeah, it's a lot you can go
Watch
into.
BoJack Horseman.
Watch
Fucking
Grace and
great.
Frankie.
I don't know what that is.
Watch it.
Rick and Morty.
Bro, Rick and
Oh
Morty.
god, Rick and Morty. I started hating that show.
And then,
God,
like, for the past 7 years, Game of Thrones.
Well, that's just
it's not
Yeah.
happening this year because
Don't-
they want to
don't.
kill us.
Alright, now
Well, hopefully we'll
now
get
I'm
it
gonna
back
have to
in
drink some more.
2000